If there was a place to be, it was definitely TD Arena, that is. I did see a lot of orange and purple on my way inside, so we'll have to see if that is a sign of things to come. Oceanside Collegiate grad quarterback Sam Hartman and Wake Forest have not fared well when facing Clemson. 13 straight losses to the Tigers. We are continuing our coverage with our corporate sponsor Tennis Channel, and joining me today, tennis legend Tracy Austin. Adapt to survive. It's one of those things that's simple human nature, but it's also something that separates good coaches from the great. As explosive as their offense is, their defense really has been the story all year.
No doubt.
When it comes to the future of the ACC, what do you project? Mount Pleasant's very own tennis pro, Shelby Rogers, said it best earlier today. She says tennis has a way of shining a light on the stories that are truly heartfelt, truly impactful, and that is certainly the case when you look at the story of Sabine Lisicki. USC definitely stepping up in competition, however. They get the 17th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. So let's pick things up third quarter. Still relatively new to the Low Country basketball community, but you wouldn't have guessed it if you looked at all of the success they have already achieved. Right on the field where Lavelle used to dazzle fans and brought so many college coaches to the sidelines to watch him perform. Your seniors, we've got 6 of them right here behind us. How special is that group to this team and what they've been able to build? The college down 2 at the half, but that's the beauty of basketball. We played 2 halves and Ryan Larson hits threes. A 13-0 run and the Cougs start to get hot. Day 1, we start with the basics. Good evening, I'm Natalie Spala. It's a smart place to start for Baker Mayfield, officially getting acquainted with a South Carolina summer. There's good, and then there's Lady Gamecocks good. I want to go back to when I was at a watch party last week for these Cougars. So many fans just so proud of this team for so many reasons. Yes, they want to see them be successful this week at the tournament. 3 tickets have already been punched. That final match, though, on Stadium Court, all the potential in the world to be a good one. Rattler looking deep, airing it out to a wide open Antoine Wells. Juice puts on the Jets a 62-yard play all the way to the house, in South Carolina refusing to go away. It's definitely going to be a battle, and this is, of course, not new territory, being in the ACC championship for head coach Dabo Swinney. More than 80 kids filling into Porter Gowd's gyms, all taking part in Neesmith's first sharpshooter camp. A major success. He tells me it's all about inspiring the next generation, the same way he was inspired when he was a kid. You're not going to find 2 coaches across the state that set the bar higher than Steve LaPrade and Tom Knotts. These are 2 coaches that don't make it their goal to make it to a state championship. It is an expectation. This is the first time Christchurch is taking the state championship field since 2012. That was when they had won 4 straight. It just so happens the team they played back in 2012 was Johnsonville. Head coach Bryce Libran says that they made it their goal to get back here while they were walking off this exact field this time last year, having lost in the state championship. I had the chance to talk to the 2 assistant coaches of Syracuse here along the Bruins sideline earlier today, and it wasn't too hard to find them, not because of the orange S on their chest, but because of the clapping and the huge smiles on both of their faces anytime one of the Sellers brothers did something great, and we've seen that, of course, all night tonight. Points did not come early, but they did come often for you in the second quarter. What changed for you guys down the stretch? You said earlier this week, just because this game has a title to it, it doesn't mean you play it any differently. How did that mentality help your guys get this job done today? You get to bring back state championship number 12 to Abbeville. What does that number mean about your historic program and the history your team now gets to be a part of?
Well, it's emotional. Nobody gave these kids a chance. You could see the size difference, but they went out and fought all night long, and I'm just proud of them. Coaches coached their tails off all year, but yeah, it's just a total team effort.
It completely was, and Oceanside able to garner some momentum, but you always had an answer. What does that say about the perseverance of this group today and all season long?
Yeah, that's kind of been our MO all year long.
They actually weaved a rope across the locker room, and it symbolizes hope. That's what Steve LaPrade told me. He says everybody is going to need to hold on to that rope no matter what. He says if you fall off a cliff, fall into the water, someone is going to throw you that rope. And this is the time where they're going to need to dig deep to get themselves back into this ball game, guys.
Thanks so much, Natalie. Great insight.
It's hard to contain a guy like Lenora Sellers simply because no one has done that yet. What is the game plan for him in the second half?
Tackle him.
It's a good start.
Yeah.
Coach, you smell like green Gatorade. They hit you a few times.
Yeah.
Go enjoy this with your team.
Some people that I know in my church call me Mr. Collins at y'all, but as far as I'm concerned, Otto German.
Otto German is a modest man,
This is just a young picture when I had hair on my head.
a 71-year-old who can sum up his life in a series of snapshots.
Just 14 years old. And that's my freshman year at Moultrie High.
It's where his journey began, just one of 7 black students sprinkled amongst 1,500 white.
I wanted to play sports immediately, but I didn't have that opportunity because all kinds of rules came into play. And so I waited my turn.
German was a standout on the court, eventually recruited to play at the College of Charleston. He became the second black scholarship athlete to wear a C of C uniform.
I was always ready to play when called upon to play. And so I worked very hard on my academics to graduate on time.
From the hardwood to administration, the next 46 years would be spent serving others, watching the college transform in front of him.
College of Charleston enrollment was only 440-something students and a handful of black students that you could count on your hands. But now that's not the situation.
A diverse community he hopes will only grow. German retired in 2019, but his journey didn't end there.
And the admissions office has an initiative that's called the Otto B. German Minority Initiative Program. So I became the face of that particular recruiting program.
From scholarships named after him to a service award, something he's most proud of. But recently, an induction into the C of C Athletics Hall of Fame.
I'm honored and humbled to have that bestowed upon me, and it's like being enshrined forever.
A part of history for a trailblazer who often refuses any credit.
We owe it all to Dr. King's effort. He's a true trailblazer. He paved the way and opened doors that weren't open back in the day. He did that on the outside, but sports is probably the best example of bringing people together. And I think that's wonderful.
Working for you in downtown Charleston, I'm Natalie Spala, ABC News 4.
A little bit of old school versus new school. You gotta love it. It has been a few years, however, since the Battling Bishops have won a state championship. They've got 6, though. They know how to get it done here, and they want to bring that title back to the Low Country. A top 10 matchup. How rare is that we are starting off our high school hoops season with perhaps the most highly anticipated game here on our broadcast slate?
He knows exactly when to take a shot. He knows exactly when to pass the ball. He is always looking for that best case scenario for his team, and he knows exactly when and where to take it.
They came out here ready to compete in an environment they haven't been to before, so that alone outstanding. This might be the bread and butter of this team's success today. Not a bunch of shooters, but so athletic, so quick, and that's exactly what they want to do. They want to get out and run and get those easy points.
We look at a team like Colleton County, who is under a first-year head coach. He's got big dreams of turning that program into what we've seen over here at Lucy Beckham.
There's a reason they're up by 20 points right now. They have been dominating both sides of the ball.
Coach, you said the big picture is, of course, making it into the playoffs. How did a win like today set the tone moving forward?
I set the tone because it moves us up to 3rd place right now.
Matthew Doyle admits golf was not his first love.
It was baseball. I was the biggest Derek Jeter fanboy ever. I just felt like I had more of a future in golf than baseball.
A decision perhaps not up to him, but his body.
People have always told me, like, oh, you're not going to be able to do like anything, like you're gonna have to quit. Like all the doctors are like, I don't know how this kid's walking.
At just 2 years old, Doyle was diagnosed with leg calf perthes, a rare hip condition that limits blood flow to the head of the thigh bone.
Instead of having a normal like ball and socket of your hip, mine kind of came in crooked, looks like a mushroom instead of a ball, and is out of place.
The bone-to-bone contact causes excruciating pain and will likely require surgery down the line.
It's not really going to get better. It's more just, am I able to play through it?
That's what he's done by finding an alternative route.
Everybody will walk and I'll be in a cart. We have a doctor's note so that I can use it for tournaments and through the NCAA.
A medical exemption Doyle has been able to use for years, but something that was seen as a red flag for some college coaches.
Saw me in a cart and they never spoke to me again, which is unfortunate, but I mean, it kind of weeds out who you should really be with, and I felt like it was destiny to be here.
I don't know why other coaches didn't recruit him. I'm glad they didn't, or didn't recruit him any harder. I'd like to think that everyone who gets into coaching wants to give kids a chance.
A chance Coach Don Hill saw as a no-brainer. Doyle checked every box with his abilities and his maturity.
We were paired with a group last year in one of his first college golf tournaments, and I overheard one of the kids in his group say, I wish I was riding. And I think Matt's retort was, well, I wish I could play pickup basketball. And that framed it for me.
Doyle has been named co-captain of his team, a striking reflection of the player and person he is, and the inspiration he is to others like him.
They have Facebook group chats of young children with Legg-Calvé-Perthes disease, and they've always reached out to my mom and I saying like they discovered golf through me, and now they kind of have an outlet like I do, which I think is fantastic.
Working for you, I'm Natalie Spala, ABC News 4.